collar on.
Yep.
What do you mean PO? You were in prison for 20 months.
That's a long time, Hallow.
So you're in a leash?
21 months.
20
months is a long
that's
time. I'm
almost 2
still up
years.
there.
How are you still up there? That was like almost a year ago.
How? The court case was
Hold
only
on, that
yesterday.
math ain't checking out.
That's not my
Hallow, that doesn't
problem.
make any sense.
That legislation was thrown out. That's not my problem. You make sense of that.
All right. So,
That's not my deal.
All right, are you able to? Can you guys talk louder? Because I can't really hear you. Guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
Anyone need food?
I need a drink. I'm gonna die again.
All right, there you go. I'm gonna pass around some food. There you go.
Thank you so much.
There
I'm
you
good.
go.
We have lunch leaves and prime up at the prison.
Okay,
Oh,
so
God.
you're gonna
Poor
keel
soul.
over any
Yes,
second.
he's gonna drop
I'm
dead.
gonna have to...
There's no
And-
wait. There's no drinks in
No
here.
worries. I'm gonna
Thank God
place
we have a
that
doctor.
right here next to you.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, I am
Oh my
right.
God, it's only fries.
Oh
good.
fuck.
Goodbye, Hallow.
Wait, there's no drinks?
No.
Oh shit. Let me
And
check
there
mine.
you go.
Oh wait, I got some here. You're gonna have to drink it down really quick though,
Slowly,
because it's
too late.
almost Sip this as soon as you get up.
Doc,
Yeah, hello.
help!
I'm
She's
not
got her
clocked
medical
in as a
bag. Good
doctor.
luck.
Oh,
Also,
Just have to lie,
you know,
though.
you would have to go to the hospital for me to help you. We have rules, okay?
Oh wait, there's a bunch of drinks in this one. I think some people got food, some people got drinks.
Ah, all right.
So I'm gonna go ahead.
I hope I
just-
got a toy.
I'm gonna place some drinks right over here in case you need any.
I got 10 sprunks.
That is perfect.
what the hell?
no food.
Yep.
Here.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
How's
Okay.
everybody doing?
Oh, fantastic.
Wonderful.
Yep. Holy shit. All
He's
right.
doing great.
Where the
So
fuck
then
are
how
my
you doing,
cigarettes?
happens to
Brad?
you, Wow. You just pass out every few
Shut up.
seconds. All right.
Bring up my WoW experience.
All right.
All right, let's get this started. 'Cause I
Thanks
got,
for
Hello?
food, Nino.
oh
Yep.
my god.
So Hollow, you got 40 minutes or you got an hour?
I got 40 minutes.
Okay, 40 minutes.
So
all right.
let's get over the major stuff first.
Okay.
Which one's the more pressing one?
Well, it's the SAG document, right?
Okay, so that's the most pressing. Okay.
Yes. So let's does everyone have a copy of the Legislative Proposal and Approval Process Act as written by Blaine County and Los the document I gave everybody last time? Everyone
I
still
got
got a
it.
copy of it?
Let me find it.
Okay.
Yes.
Ideally, I think we should start there, given that what was done with it is we took the existing legislation and we baked in the things that we believe should and need to be added to it. And perhaps we go through that and see if anyone agrees, disagrees, et cetera, if things need to be changed. Let's do that. And ideally, maybe we can reach a conclusion at the end of this and send that conclusion over to the governor.
Okay, so this
Which may or may
legislative-
not even need a signature, to be honest.
Legislative Proposal on Approval Process Act. I'm just going to read through it and then we can go from there. Ensure process to which legislation introduced by. Let me see. It's clear. All right. So. The mayor from each county, San Andreas Medical Authority, Department of Justice, and many people's petitions shall follow the structure and format listed below for proposed legislation. Parties above shall post on the government website and the city hall section, same as we always do anyway. Legislation being proposed by the Department of Justice must have support of 50% of all justices before posting to City Hall. That's how we do it. Justices are to have 48 hours to vote on proposed legislation. Is that, I'm assuming it's like whenever you guys put up legislation, the justices are like, hey, is this good to go through the contest phase?
This is legislation
Yeah, it seems like
proposed
that.
by the DOJ.
Okay,
Yes,
so gotcha. Okay.
We need to put it on the City Hall area instead of just in our internal communications.
Precisely.
Like how the judge did right now.
Yes.
Okay. And then we obviously justices would approve it in 48 hours. Okay. Upon completing voting, if approved, the proposed legislation is to be signed by all supporting justices before moving to the public contest period, which means, okay, that's fine. Proposed legislation
Well,
does. Go ahead.
Okay, that's perfect. So it would be the period of time where someone could contest it. Would it be the same amount of signatures and everything that you're seeing for your own contest periods? Would it just be the exact same
yes, that comes in
Alright,
the next section.
Yeah. So for the DOJ, if we want to, if the judges want to propose legislation, at minimum 50% of the justices have to sign it, saying, "Yeah, we agree," and then it goes into the public contest period.
Yes.
And then obviously, if we get less than 50%, then it doesn't go to contest period at all.
Yep.
All right.
Legislation to affirm constitutionality. This review can be conducted by any judge or justice of the DOJ. That part I don't agree with.
Okay.
The Constitution. Oh, well, hang on. I think the constitutionality needs to needs to be like a discussion, because that's never been a one person says, yeah, this is good to go. This always been a like.
Really?
That is true. It's always a discussion from our back end. I know.
Yeah, we have a discussion on whether or not, whether or not it's constitutional, or if we're okay with it going forward, or if it like contradicts anything that we have.
Wait, isn't that what this is saying?
This is saying that any judge or justice can do it. Before it was just justices. So I'm trying to like see if that conflicts with anything we already have.
Yes. Okay.
Because the way that, and Hart can correct me, the way that I believe it works is that judges are mainly there for like court cases and search warrants and like all like the regular judge stuff, and justices are there to make sure everything kind of stays in line with the Constitution and the amendments that are there.
I think for sake of when we wrote this, this was before we had these follow-up conversations, and given the fact that we discussed just send an email or whatever it is, let's just leave it justice so that we can move forward to the more meaty stuff.
You want me to just leave a comment and highlight it then, or?
Yep, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Good
I mean,
idea.
you're
We
just
usually end up involving judges in the discussions anyway, in case we miss anything. But
yeah, but it's usually just
being the actual check is probably best.
We're the ones that make the comment on the city hall part of the legislation.
Yes.
So I'm gonna
legislation determined to be constitutional within enter a public contest period. That's fine. The public will be given 3 days to contest legislation. That's how it works. The cost for the contest legislation.
By the way, I have this in suggestion mode. So as things are changing, you can see what was deleted from the original documents. You'll see right there. I just
I'm watching you do it.
Okay, beautiful.
Perfect. Los Angeles County, Blaine County, San Andreas Medical Authority, $50,000 paid to the Department of Justice bank account from the contesting individual. People's petition. A people's petition can be issued. Okay, so if somebody from the mayor's office or like of the respective county or medical authority is $50,000, right? Is that what I'm getting out of this?
Correct. Which is the current standard.
If it's just the people, it's the 25,050 signatures.
Yes, that's the same as it currently stands. It would just
it used to be 25. It got.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So 50 signatures or $250,000 paid to the DOJ. Okay.
Correct.
Got it. All right. The judge or justice received the payment to initiate the contest will acknowledge the contest in the proposed legislation and deposit the funds to the Department of Justice bank account. That's fine. Acknowledge receipt of the contest is to be issued by a justice within 24 hours. Okay. Contesting parties must indicate whether they are contesting the entirety of legislation or a specific clause. That perfect. If contesting specific clauses, the contesting party can offer amendments as part of the petition to contest. If accepted by the legislative authority proposing the legislation, the amendments are to be incorporated and contest period is to proceed. I'm gonna say, do you think that the process, the contest period should start over if an amendment is made to it instead of just going back to the time?
I wondered that as well. We've ran into that with contests before, where it just kind of.
I don't think so. I think this is one thing that didn't make sense process wise. Rather, okay, so let's say on Monday something is proposed. Now there's a 72-hour window. I think realistically, in that 72-hour window, it should be all contests are received.
No, I get that, right? But like it's saying, so like let's say like you said, it's on Monday, right? You
Mhm.
put in an amendment. I do agree that every contest is within that 72-hour window. Completely, we're on the same page there.
Yep.
If a contest goes through and somebody recommends an amendment and you agree to the amendment, should that contest period start over so people can contest the amendment that was made?
I don't think so, given,
Okay.
if proposing, how do I put this? I don't think so, because that amendment, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of a good way to summarize what I'm thinking here, but I don't see how an amendment to why someone would feel the need to contest a amendment, because it would infer a grievance would have existed during the contest period to begin anyways, and it would open the door for effectively filibustering.
Sure.
Okay, and then obviously they can audit it later if they want to really argue with the amendment.
That's the
Exactly.
process they should be having to do. They should have to do that, so it's like it gets amended, and then if they have an issue with it, it can be audited.
Mhm.
Like that.
That makes
That's
sense.
the process that should be.
I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Contest period arbitration. If the contesting party chooses not to propose amendments or proposed amendments are declined by the drafting legislative authority, the judge or justice who took the contest is to schedule an arbitration hearing between the contesting party or parties and the relevant legislative authority. Overseen by a judge or justice, arbitration will be structured as follows. Each party will make an opening statement, contesting party followed by a legislative authority. Each party will be granted a 2-minute speaking block, not to exceed 12 minutes in total debate, combined between both parties. Each party will make a closing statement.
I think we should remove the time.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing. I don't think there should.
letting mine go on. Kind of lets people feel better.
Yeah, I don't think there should be a
Okay.
time limit.
Okay.
If people want to filibuster something and wants to read the Fast Five script for a whole tsunami,
Okay, well, I don't know
willing to
about
sit
all.
there and
Like,
throw it.
obviously,
Yeah, that's
we don't need
that.
Kyle, quoting Batman
Yeah,
again. But at
so
the same time,
I'll
a judge
read the
can
whole
say
movie.
stop.
So, so that's a good point, right? How does who determines? So the reason that there's a time in this, right, is on one hand, you don't want the arbitrator, a judge or a justice, facilitating when commentary should end. That's not good. On the flip side, filibustering isn't good. So there needs to. How does it formally end?
I was in a meeting, so.
If not a time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you.
12 minutes seems a little low to like make an argument, though. You don't
Well,
think?
no,
Maybe
no.
a moderator.
So
It's
just to make sure everyone's
That's what the
reading
judge
this
is supposed to be
properly,
for.
each party makes a opening statement. It's an unbounded period of time. This is why it needs to go into place. The other party has their opening statement. It could be 20 minutes long. So they both make their big arguments why it's happening. And then the back and forth debate is, well, I don't agree with this because of da-da-da-da-da. Other side says, well, this is why it is da-da-da-da-da. So the bounded time is just the back and forth period. Right? And then the closing statement also is unbounded.
That's an interesting idea.
yeah.
So you're against the justice overseeing it, having a say in when things move along?
Yes,
They're not the one that needs
because
to be convinced.
because inherently the arbitrator is simply there to arbitrate, not to decide when when debate should be concluded.
Ah, understood. I'm
We're
slightly
just there
misunderstanding
as a
what
mediator.
saying.
We're not there
Sure,
to.
Of course.
It also keeps the like petty bickering like very succinct. Because if you
Yeah.
only have
That's
12
my favorite
minutes.
part.
Well,
That's my favorite part too.
So-
I love it when
Thank
people
you.
argue shit.
I love
Yeah.
that.
As much as I love hearing people argue, the issue does come into what Nino is saying about people. It's just being a
Yes.
constant back and forth and nothing ever getting. It just
Yeah,
goes in
but the thing
circles.
is, though, here's one thing we got to take into consideration. All right, if we put too many like limitations on things, then people just won't give a fuck. But if we kind of allow things to kind of run its course and go wild, and then hey, we say, hey, listen, can you stay on topic, or hey, don't, like we moderate it a little bit. It will probably be a better environment that people actually want to be in and take part in.
Honestly, I'm of the same mind. I think that from a justice and judge standpoint, we need to make sure we keep our people in check. in terms of making sure that we're a mediator and arbitrator, like Nino and Kyle are saying, where we're not there to say, okay, let's move this along. This is simply, let's stay on topic. Let's not, you know, go into a full blown conversation. So I don't think we need a time limit. I think it's more so like we need to just make sure the mediator
keep the
keeps
train
it in
on the
check.
tracks.
Yeah, just make sure everybody keeps everything in order.
Otherwise, we'll never get to a conclusion. You know what I mean? If we allow it to derail too much, we won't be able to solve anything. But if we're too strict, then people won't want to take part.
So how do you legislatively make sure it stays on track? Because the key here, right, is the people that are listening into this is two objectives. One is that there is a conclusion, right? Or secondly, there is not a conclusion. It goes to vote. So you don't want people leaving this thing because they're like, these guys are going for 2 hours, right?
I mean, you saw the court case yesterday. The whole place was pretty much packed, and that was almost a 6-hour-long court case.
Same with
I
my
think
audit
that if
of
something's
legislation,
interesting
this is
enough and you have the right people together, then sometimes, I mean, hey, sometimes things are shorter than what you expect, and sometimes things are larger than what you expect.
So
you know, that's
I think the majority view here, I'm down for either, to be honest. I'm not dead struck on either, is let's strike the back and forth and let the mediator allow it to be an unbounded amount of time.
Yeah, unbounded. So like if one person wants to be like, well, this is the problem with this, then the mediator say, okay, you know, other side, what's your response to that? And then just go from there.
Okay.
And just have them literally do a debate on what the other person is saying and then go from there. That way they can kind of have like a conversation, but it doesn't go to the point of where they're going at each other's throats.
Okay. I'm going to make a note here because I think this has to be, I'm not going to write it all right now, but
yeah, it just needs to be, that part needs to
let me know if the comment I'm adding here is correct. Remove bounded time instead is unlimited. Arbitrator is to keep the conversation moving. However, they do not when debate ends. Okay. All right. This is just kind of rough notes, but it'll be rewritten with that comment in mind. Is that accurate?
Yes, that looks right.
Pretty much. Yep.
Okay.
Are we gonna take care of FOIA stuff too today?
That comes afterwards.
Yeah. If we get to it.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on. If resolution is reached, the proposed legislation will be amended based on the agreed upon amendments, if any, and the matter will be closed. If contested, no resolution is found during arbitration, contested legislation will enter the public vote period. That's fine. Justice shall post the reasons for contest as proved to the petition party of the public view. If feasible, a recording of the arbitration hearing will be made. The recording will be posted to a publicly accessible forum, City Hall, and attached to the ballot. Yeah, so honestly, I'm cool with that personally.
The idea is like
put a vote on the ballot, say if you need more information, see City Hall. And then it'll have like the contest and the recording of the contest and everything on City Hall.
Another thing that could be done is on the ballot, let's say it's like big PP, right? And then in parentheses, youtube.com/whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's needed.
Yeah.
I think that would be good. I'm just not sure if it'll get cut off. Yeah, I'm not sure if it'll get cut off. So that's the problem.
No, we could just be like, so what we could do is maybe we could, under the legislation tab or under some type of tab, we could be like reference MDT category, you know, like reference something smaller that wouldn't take up a lot of space, like just reference a certain spot to read it.
Yeah, reference our hashtag and then whatever the report is, and then you can go to that.
Yeah.
I think
fine.
either
actually, can regular civilians see that? I don't know.
Well, that's something that I think we need to work with you guys with. You have the ability to do some of that stuff, and it's just got to get figured out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can have like a longer conversation to make sure that people can like see stuff like that and go from there.
If I'm not mistaken, this wording though is probably good in that it leaves it open-ended enough that it allows us to go solve however that, you know, the mechanics of it.
So the only thing is if a resolution is reached, the proposed legislation will be amended based on the agreed upon, are we just going to automatically amend it right then and there, or does it need to go into a contest period? The amendment.
I think that, can I tell you the process that I think would be best? I think that if we were allowed to amend stuff, and then if people had a problem with it, then they could contest it. Like once it gets through, if we could amend the legislation, and then people, if they had an issue with it, could contest it, that at least is like, if you do something, that at least means there's like a sample size that people can experience something to have an opinion. Whereas most of the times people just contest stuff without there being an opinion. As long as it's not against the Constitution, that should be the process we go with.
I think he's asking a different question.
Well, that did go along with what I asked. The only issue with what you're saying, in my opinion, Pred, and Hart, please, God, feel free to step in, is exactly what you, the issue with that is what you said earlier, is that people might just not either A, not give a fuck, or B, be too scared to actually put forward that they're contesting the amendment. Because of like, they won't get the signatures, they don't have $250,000.
But maybe I'm misunderstanding. Is the question after the if a resolution is reached, the proposed legislation will be amended based upon the agreed upon amendments?
So if
are
it
you
goes
saying
to arbitration,
does it
right?
recontest? Is that the question?
Yeah. So let's say you guys go to arbitration, right? Like you have an amendment, somebody contests it, it goes to your hearing thing.
Yeah.
Let's say you both you and the other side both come to an agreement, saying, you know what, that amendment makes sense. I can see why you contested it. We'll make changes. Should that go back on City Hall and go back into the contest phase?
No.
Saying, hey, here's the amendment we made because we went into a hearing. You know, we want to put it forward.
If I make a law and then a group of people specifically don't like it,
no, that's
they can
awful.
They can fuck you. Different people
exactly.
That's not ideal.
That's why.
But then it also runs into the question of what if one person contests the legislation, but another person wanted to contest it for an entirely different reason, and now they don't get the opportunity to. It's
they both should. If I'm not mistaken, I think what we said earlier, I think makes most sense, is that the 72-hour window is for all contests.
Yeah, it's an infinite amount, 100 people or 100 different reasons for contests could go up there, but after 72 hours, there's no reason to add anything else.
So in theory, if there was like 2 contests in different segments of the legislation, there would be 2 hearings that would be scheduled on the same day. So let's say I wrote something, Dr. Naya contested paragraph 1, Pred contested number 2. They would both show up at the hearing. I'd argue with Naya first, and then I'd argue with Pred.
Exactly.
And then boom, boom.
Exactly.
Any amendment that comes out of it does not then get recontested. That period is already over. And, you know, they should have spoken their word in the 72 hours. And I think inherently that makes sense because the amendment that comes out of it should, in theory, never be a problem because it would have already been brought up in the 72 hours, and there's still the audit process that's available. So
if that's the case, the only thing I ask is that you add somewhere in here saying that like an infinite number of contests can be made within a 72-hour period. Like there is no limit.
So the process is going to be pretty much the same as it is now. Then we're not going to be able to audit stuff. I mean, and then file it immediately, and then it goes through, and then people can contest it. There is a window of like that they can appeal the audit that's coming through.
Yeah, it's just a 72-hour window that they can audit, or they can contest it, and then if nothing happens, it goes straight to your legislation as normal. The only difference is that this one is what Nino's putting in the thing is like, if somebody wants to contest it, it'll go to a hearing.
I think he's getting confused with the words.
It's done by.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I got you. So as long as it's constitutional.
Yeah,
it'll still technically go through, but there is going to be a contest for it. Okay, so this is if we do this process, it won't slow things down.
No. You're mistaking it. You're thinking of it as if you put in if you make up a legislation right now. Let's say you make this legislation of you want to be called Lord Pred or whatever the fuck you have on the docket right now, which I am denying, by the way.
Hey, why is that?
We'll go into that later, but I am denying that.
We'll
15 minutes
over tomorrow.
Okay. What'd you say,
Oh,
Nino?
we got 15 minutes.
Yeah. So Pred, let's say that you put a legislation on the docket, and you're like, hey, I'm putting this up, or on the City Hall page. It still goes into the 3-day contest phase as it does right now. The only difference is that if somebody contests it, it goes to a hearing. It doesn't just go Like we don't just say, okay, somebody contested this, they got 50 signatures, you're done by. Like you go to like they have to like explain the reason for why they're contesting it. They don't just get to say 50 signatures. Okay, we're kicking it out.
So, but
okay, so I like that better. That they have to
Yes.
kind of present like
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, they have to present
Yeah,
a reason.
so
they
that way
can't
we
just
just
say
can't
we
be
don't like it.
fucked over.
They
Because
can't.
that's what
Yeah,
because I
they
already
can't just
have
be like
experience.
fuck you and fuck your law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I've already experienced that where they just basically did it fuck me and then just fucking contested. No reason why everything was anonymous.
Yep.
But your legislation is not automatically approved. It still has to go through the contest phase as it does now.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting legislation to be automatically approved. What it was is like little amendments because it's like if I amend something and it's not against the Constitution, then the justices verify it. Then I feel like it would be better if it went through because what the process if you amend something, it's almost like you're redoing another legislation anyway that you've already had passed when you just want to say change a line or two. And as long as it's not unconstitutional, then it should just like work right then and there. I think that process would be better. Like I think that would just be a more streamlined one.
Hart and I could talk about that definitely with the other judges and stuff. Make sure they're okay with it.
Couple things.
I don't mind it personally.
Couple things. So I'm putting 72-hour window can have a limited amount of contests. I would also like to suggest that each one of those contests, if via vote, those are via petition, should have unique signatures. So 50 people cannot, in theory, put together 20 contests, right?
I'm sorry,
Like,
say
if
that last
two
part one more
different
time.
people- So if two different people contested the legislation and each one has overlapping signatures, it wouldn't count anymore. How would they know necessarily if there were two different parties?
Maybe we don't put that in there and then see what happens. Maybe this
I'm
is
sure
one of
that
those.
if we see any
let's see.
fuckery, we could handle it.
Yeah,
so-
agreed.
I mean, they're still gonna have to go to this arbitration hearing and explain why they're arguing
is
this.
true.
So
Yes.
Good point. Second thing is that their reasoning should go on City Hall so arbitration could. Do we want a hearing if there? Do we need should there still be? Their shit should still be posted to City Hall so that if like let's say Naya says, hey, I'm contesting line 1 because of X, Y, and Z. It goes on City Hall before this thing is scheduled. So I can just be like, you know what? Fuck that line. Let me just remove it.
Sure.
I mean,
I have no issue with that. That would just
Okay.
streamline it
yeah.
even
So
further.
the way I see it personally is like it's like court. Like if she asks a question, you object to it, and she goes, you know, withdrawn, then your objection doesn't matter because she withdrew the question.
Okay.
So
Beautiful.
if you like make a legislation, you're like, hey, this line on here, I don't, and she goes, I don't like this, and you're like, you know what, I don't like it either, I'm removing it. Then there's no reason to contest it.
Okay. Beautiful.
That's
All right.
that's great because that'll just streamline the process, and that's what we need right now because the process is so fucking jumbled.
Yeah, I mean, and then if you know, in my opinion, if Nino goes on the City Hall thing, he's like, you know what, I agree with that. It shouldn't be there. You know, please note that we've removed it from the initial posting, or like, you know, here's the new posting with the new legislation, just like a comment on the original thread, and then just be like, okay, here it is removed, and then we'll be good.
Okay. All right.
King Pred approves of this.
No.
We're almost done. You want to keep on reading there, hello?
Yeah. Public will have 3 days on the legislation, which will be approved or rejected by a majority vote. Legislation will be enacted if majority vote is obtained for approval. If the event of a tie, the legislation will not be enacted into law. That's fine with me. So do you just want to say 51%? Then?
Hold on one
So
second.
if it's like has to be like 51% or more of the vote, and they get it. If it's not 51 or more, then they don't, and it doesn't get put in.
Sorry, what line are you reading right now?
It says the public will have 3 days to vote on the legislation. That's if like it goes to an actual vote. Legislation will be enacted if a majority is obtained for approval. In the event of a tie, legislation will not be enacted into law. Do you just want to say the legislation has
Just
to obtain
over
51% or more of the votes?
I've changed it to note over 50% since
Perfect.
51% could be, could be 50.5.
Yes.
So
If rejected, legislative authority may not present the same or similar topic legislation to contest for another 7 days. Fine with me. Hart, you good with that?
Yes, fine with me.
Okay, cool. If two counties have two identical legislations approved, it will be developed into a statewide law per the San Andreas State Constitution. The San Andreas DOJ shall be responsible for enacting the legislation into statewide legislation. which remains in the purview of the counties as the legislative authority for the legislation in question. Should a county so choose, they may amend statewide legislation per amendments in enacted legislation.
That's
Hang
fair.
on.
That's something we discussed last time, that they can revoke it if they decide that's not something they want for their county.
Yep. If the amendment is not accepted by the other county, the legislation is to be demoted to 2 separate pieces of county legislation, thereby enabling the counties to adapt. Yep, I agree with that. I think all you have to do as a mayor is just, if you guys both are like, hey, we're requesting this be made statewide, we both agree with this, or we both signed off on this legislation, or we both have our own that are too similar, that it should be state, and then we just review it and say, yeah, this, these are exactly the same, we'll make it state legislation. There's no need for a contest phase.
Bro, how is this going so smoothly?
You have 2 of the same legislation. There's no point in it not being statewide.
Yeah.
Right.
As long as it's constitutional, I don't see a reason that we can't just be like, okay, yep, this is the same exact thing, we'll make this state.
Yes,
Yep.
I could agree.
Okay.
I mean, it still can be audited if necessary, but
Yep. Just as every other legislation.
absolutely.
You guys both good with that?
Yeah, I'm.
Or
Yep.
Dr. Nye?
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it.
Yep.
Does
we
that
hammer
all?
this out. This is big.
Does the wording say this here, or do you think it needs to be altered to express anything that you just said?
I can leave a comment.
Okay, beautiful. This is going at a scarily smooth speed right now.
I know, it really is. We haven't had a sticking point yet.
Well, it's because I mean, the process is pretty much, good that Nino wrote up. I pretty much agreed with all of it.
Yeah.
There were always going to be holes that we incidentally created. I'm happy to close them.
Well, then that's why we just got to meet on middle ground. You know what I mean? Just for the sake of getting.
I don't even
rolling,
think,
because for too long, things have just been unmovable.
Right. No, you're not wrong.
He's writing a comment.
I haven't even been able to do my job until today, since I've been in office.
Hopefully you've got good access to computers in the prison there.
Yeah, we have a well, I donated. I gave them a business grant of $2 million today. So
ooh, all right.
I'm getting them a bunch of programs going up at the prison. No one's really taking care of them.
All right. So I added a part in here saying, make sure it's noted that as long as both mayors agree, in parentheses, have signatures, stating they both agree with legislation for respective county, then a justice can check for constitutionality and agree to make legislation statewide. No need for contest phase, can still be audited. And then I'm going to also put request to make statewide legislation must be put on the city hall section so people can see it.
Okay. Beautiful.
Is there anything other? I know Hollows says he only has like 10 minutes left. Is there anything else that we can hammer out in 10 minutes?
I'm good to keep going. If I have to dip randomly, I'll let you know. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This shit's gonna get done today, one way or another.
Yes, it will.
Hell yeah.
Bro, this could have happened 5 weeks ago. It's crazy. It's insane how smooth this is right now. Like, bro, I don't understand. Like, literally, this is what we've been asking for. I don't know why it's always been seeming like we're asking for something that's, like, evil. We're just like, we're arguing for basic democracy and transparency. That's it.
I'm the only person that's been to jail in the last almost 24 hours now.
My God. What are the police doing?
Gee.
Thanksgiving.
All right, the removal process, aka repeal. If one country wishes to withdraw their half, they may only do so via the legislation removal process. If a county withdraws their half of statewide legislation, it will be demoted to the opposing county's legislation. I'm fine with that. Any legislation submitted by the Los Angeles County Mayor, Blaine County Mayor, San Andreas Medical Authority, or the Department of Justice may only be repealed by the respective submitting authority or legislative audit. They shall post notice of intent to remove the City Hall section, and 3-day window for contest will open. So what does that mean? So like if you want to repeal it, so then they have to contest whether it repeals or not, kind of like with Pred's sheriff thing?
It's
Yes.
the same thing that happened.
It's just
That's
the same
already been kind
thing.
of going on.
Okay, okay,
Backwards.
gotcha.
Same process that we already have.
It's just being specified.
I'm not gonna lie. The snarky side of me is like, why the fuck does the mayor have to like ask permission from the people to repeal a legislation they don't agree with, but the logical side says it makes sense.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
want.
I thought the same thing.
I think it'd be fun, but the reality is, a collection of mayors over a period of a year could put everything in place, and Bobby Charles wins because nobody votes that election,
God.
and he removes everything.
That's a good
Right?
That
point.
is
Yeah,
very
that's the
true.
logical side of me
Yes.
talking.
Absolutely.
The contest process is defined in details, and implementation will apply if no contests are received. It shall be repealed. I'm cool with that personally. Everybody on the same page with that one?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
I got no complaints.
Amendments to enacted legislation. Amendments to legislation enacted by the DOJ for Los Angeles County, Blaine County, the San Andreas Medical Authority, and the Department of Justice. On behalf of the state of San Andreas, is subject to the following stages of the legislative proposal and approval process. Determination of constitutionality by a judge or justice by the DOJ as defined in legislation proposal. Again, let's just change that to just justice. The 3-day public contest period as defined in public contest period. I mean, that looks good to me. I can't think of anything else past that.
Yep. Okay. Well, holy fuck. This is literally all that we asked for 5 weeks ago.
There we are.
And boom, boom. This has been
and then we can go over like the major like FOIA audits and stuff another time.
To conclude on this, I'm gonna get an updated copy. I'm gonna send it out. Can we give 24 hours for us to do a final review and then push this through?
Yep. Put it at the city hall. We'll go to the contest period and we'll do that.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, maybe trying to have it so that it's like done by tonight instead of a 24-hour period. Is that impossible? So that way we can.
I'm doing
literally
24 because I need to make sure the rest of the staff is able to review it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got to do hardcore grinding and WoW, so I can't promise I'll be around to look at it.
Yeah.
My God.
Well, how about this then? Because I got a bunch of legislation I want to go over. We'll just wait for this to go through, and then Hollow and or Hart, we can meet and discuss the legislation or that I want to get through.
Yeah, I want to get your legislation done as soon as possible. Yours has been sitting there for a hot minute.
So
I've been sitting there for like a month. Yeah, it's been a while.
So I want to ask a question. I know we want to do the FOIA stuff or whatever on another date. Let me ask two general questions. Number one is, so we got the FOIA, the Angel Act, and the what is it? The whatever the third one is. We could skip the entire audit by coming to an agreement and all signing off on it. Do we want to have that conversation, or do we want to go through formal audit? I think that's the major.
So can you ask that question one more time?
Yes.
I was moving your thing.
I have submitted 3 audits, right? I think 2 weeks. It's been about 2 weeks now. Those ones inherently would go back up to state officials, given the fact that y'all are conflicted with your signatures on it. As a consequence of that, we can continue down that route, or alternatively, we could come to a agreed upon changes and just push that through. Which of the two are y'all more leaning towards?
I would be happy to attempt to meet, and then if we don't come to an agreement, we continue with the contest.
Okay.
Yeah,
because
our own contest period
Yeah.
arbitration for those legislations, basically. Yeah.
There is a third elephant in the room, which is the proposal I had last time, which is of the things that have been shadow edited in over the past 2 months, still without notice on the DOJ announcements. I think those should I think we can simplify all of this and roll it back, because I think the.
What do you mean by roll it back?
The Marshall one, the FOIA one, etc., which means roll it back to what was there a month and a half ago. Specifically, if we're going to reference the FOIA one, it was put in place because it was claimed that I was abusing the system for requesting 4 months of my audit. So it was done, I think, arguably
he was told
unjustly.
It was abuse.
Yes. Even though Grayson was able to produce it in literally less than a day. And the Marshall one is just so utterly egregious that I don't know why y'all would want your signature on it to begin with. So maybe something to cook on. But you know, there's 3 different routes we can go down.
Yeah, let us talk about that, and then we'll get back to you on that one, because I think
Yes, that's probably for the
I'm
best.
personally not against us just having a conversation, coming to an agreement on it.
Okay.
If we can, that's wonderful.
All right. Beautiful.
I think that we owe it to try and come to an agreement on everything, just for the sake of getting the ball rolling, because it's just been in place for so long. The quicker that we can try and come to a middle ground on things and get things happening again, the better it'll just be for everybody and the entire city.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. To
Yep.
When is the next time to discuss? I can do it tomorrow around the same time. Or 7 p.m. Eastern. Maybe we can get the governor around.
I'm also free tomorrow.
I don't know about tomorrow. Is everybody free Tuesday?
I should be. That's slightly more up in the air.
Yeah, for me,
busy in the
Tuesday's a
morning,
little
not
up
sure
in the
where
air.
it'll end.
How about Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Wednesday, I'm out.
What
Are
about
you able
Thursday?
anytime tomorrow?
Possibly later in the day. Yeah.
What time roughly?
I mean, we can aim for the 7 p.m. one and then hope for the best.
Okay. How about 6 p.m.? Does that make it
that's
easier?
It's not that it's too late. I'm just saying that, like, the later probably the better.
Okay.
So
Let's
probably we'll aim for 7 p.m. and hope for the best.
love it.
And if I can't make
Sure.
it, then Hart and I have been on the same page this entire time, so she can speak.
Can
for
I get my
me.
weapons license back now?
Talk to a
I
judge.
believe there's a bug in the MDT where we can't actually issue them right now, which is
Yeah.
very unfortunate.
Hello,
Yeah, talk
could
to a
you
judge.
make note of I'm gonna iterate just some things that I think we need to tackle, just so it's gonna let just to track it. It's gonna be the FOIA, it's gonna be the Angel Act, it's gonna be the powers of whatever of the police department whatever you should have the notes of it. The next major one, and this can come down the way, is a lot of the existing penal code is unconstitutional. It's not backed by legislation. Bringing up the constitutionality and the legality of it, that needs to be squared away in one way or another. Whether it's a singular document that umbrellas it all or whatever it might be.
One of your staff stated that they were writing up a document with each charge that is considered in
Yes.
their eyes to be
Yeah, I'm
unconstitutional.
still
We have
waiting
a
for that.
20. Oh,
Would love
do you
to see that.
want that? It's a 20-page document.
Yeah, I need that
Yes,
so we can
we
go
can
over
do
it one
that.
by one. That being
Okay,
said,
all right, we can do that.
That
100%.
being said, I'm gonna be. Have you guys talked to a judge about the articles of impeachment yet? Besides me,
What do you mean by that?
I have not.
I told you that.
Oh, the
when it
one
comes
that
to
I
articles
sent?
yeah, somebody has to post it on the docket.
I will get that posted also within the next 24 hours.
I would. Do you need to talk to a? I don't think you need to talk for a judge for that. So you should be good to just
I'll
post
double-
that and then
I'll
somebody can
double
take
check.
It.
Yep.
Okay, but since it's a justice, it'll likely be a panel.
Okay.
We good?
I believe so, yes.
I
All
got to
right,
get back to prison.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna confirm this with Angel, make sure she's okay with it all, and then we'll put everything in.
Well, she's on LOA, right?
Yeah, but she's the boss, so she needs to confirm it.
What do you mean she's the boss?
Yeah.
Of course.
Wait, she's your boss?
That's
Yeah,
Angel,
it's Angel.
actually. That's what I
Yeah.
like to call her.
Wait, that's where is that in based on what?
It's not in writing.
Oh.
That
Ugh,
doesn't
I don't
sound
think
good
she's
when
your
you put it
boss,
like
brother.
Yikes.
No,
Yeah.
she is. We don't do anything without her signing off on it first.
Yes.
I feel like you're baiting right now.
Baiting what?
Well, you're making a claim that's not based on law.
It's not law, it's just procedure.
No, he's fucking
So
with
yeah,
us 100%.
So
I
your
can tell I heard
SOP, your internal SOP is Angel is your boss. Well, listen, if you're gonna wait for Angel, I'm gonna be filing for impeachment for both of y'all for stalling this on an individual that, by your own admission, was on indefinite leave on the docket, which in turn led to the court case in which Kyle Pred was ultimately led to prison. And so therefore the civil lawsuit in which Blaine County had 5 weeks of non-stata, let alone Los Santos County. I haven't really considered what we're doing. You're going to be liable for that. So, I mean, we can play those games, and I love those games. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, we can play those games, but then that means no more justices, and that means no more legislation.
I'm going to be the justice, and
yeah, right.
I'm going to fucking roll an alliance character, all right, and I'm going to hunt your ass
the
down.
hell? That's OOC.
Brother, you don't have to bother hunting him down. He's just gonna die anyway.
That's very true.
This is true. This is true.
All right. Yeah, get the changes made, post it to the docket on the city hall page, and then obviously it's already been checked for constitutionality as far as I'm aware, but we'll make sure the judges don't have anything they want to nitpick with it, and then we'll pass it on.
Absolutely. Hey, I appreciate this. This has been amazing.
Of course, absolutely.
Very
And
productive.
as mentioned last time, we're both available if you ever need to reach out to either of us.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Fred, do you have anything you want to say?
Prison ain't that bad.
Jesus Christ!
I pretty much have been running the whole place. It's pretty dope. But my keys work there, so I'm able to go wherever I want.
That's pretty good, actually. That just seems like a good
Yeah,
It's fun.
I'm just gonna
You
get
just
Nino to
play
drive me
house.
back. I'm just gonna walk through the front door and go
Oh
to
my
my cell.
god.
Perfect. There you are.
This
All
I can't
right.
make you leave. Suppose it is
Before
in
you go to your
county.
cell, can you please sign my marijuana law, please, so I can post it?
Oh, yes.
Us, right?
I emailed you, but you didn't sign it.
Oh, I'm gonna sign it right now.
Thank you. You want to
Yep.
sign
Yeah.
it right now, too?
Yep.
Brad, it's right in front of you.
Yeah, hold on. It's not in front of me. I gotta walk over there to sign it.
Of
What do you
course,
mean?
of course.
But these prison jumpers are actually pretty comfy.
Oh, hi.
Oh my god.
By the way, just for
Oh, wow.
context on everyone, about 10 minutes ago, Hallow
There we
emailed me saying, "I'm going to make a funny joke. Play along. You'll know when I do it." So,
I love jokes.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. I heard him kind of chuckle a little bit.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
couldn't help myself. Great joke, though. That's a good one. I'm going to take full credit for that. No one's ever said
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Sounds like a toothpaste though.
Oh my
It
god.
does. It does.
All right. Yes, get that posted up on the docket. We should be able to get that.
Nino,
done
you
for
mind giving me a ride back
Yeah,
to
yeah.
prison?
It's all right. All right. Thank you so much, Hot. You too, Dr.
Absolutely,
Naya.
happy to help.
Good to see you.
Very productive.
It's the sharp contrast is insane.
Well, I mean, it's just we never really had an option for middle ground before. It was either
No.
Angel's Way or no, or nothing at all.
Yeah. It's always being asked, like, let us write up what we think is good, and then, we'll review it together. Nope. Not going to happen. Well, it did. Now what?
Well, now, I mean, we can finally do our shit. I mean, we should be able to start being able to get our
Oh, my
legislation.
God. This is going to be great. This is going to be great, Pred.